Hello, Turtle investors. Welcome to the Turtle Tycoon, the only channel that whoever is the loyal follower with the most discipline and with the most patience type of character becomes billionaire. 100% guaranteed. Prepare your pen and paper because it's gonna be an interesting topic. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so you won't be missing out. Today's topic is, what is the investor's 20% rule? Straight to the point. The investor's 20% rule is the discipline and patience that whatever is your earned income, 20% of that, you invest into your assets. And you have to do this regularly and religiously. It is not a one-time big-time transaction that you invest one time big-time and wait for it to grow. The right thing to do, just like when you water the plants for it to grow, it is not a one-time big-time to water the plants. Do nothing and then you don't have to water the plant forever for it to grow. But instead, you have to water it regularly and religiously. It is the consistency that makes it grow over a long period of time. You invest regularly, maybe in your case, it is monthly or every 15 days. Every time you receive your earned income. The secret strategy, the recipe to this 20% rule is that you're leaving 80% of your income. If you're earning 10,000 pesos a month, you must put immediately your 2,000 pesos or 20% of your assets. If you're earning 100,000 a month, you must put immediately 20,000 pesos or 20% of your assets. It really doesn't matter how much is your income is, but you have to stick to your investors' 20% rule because 20% is 20%. If you're earning 1 million pesos a month, you must put immediately 200,000 pesos or 20% to your assets, regardless you're a student or a worker or an investor. If you're a student receiving allowance income from your parents, remember this, that allowance income is still an income. And you, as a student, can immediately apply the investor's 20% rule. Personally, I started this rule when I was an elementary student. Every time I receive allowance from my parents, I immediately save or invest a portion of it. I still don't know the investor's 20% rule that time when I was a student, but I'm already developing the habit of investing unknowingly. And when I got my first job and having an earned income regularly, I started with 1% or maybe 5% investing. That's right, Turtle investors. I still remember my very first earned income job. It was 2,750 pesos a month. That's right, it was a contract for a year. And I was investing aside around 100 pesos a month only. You might think it is small amount, but at the end of the day, it is not the amount after all. It is the habit of doing it unconsciously and unknowingly. I was leaving 95% of my income. As times goes by, that 1% goes to 3%, 5%, and it grows to 10%. And honestly, Turtle investors, honestly, that 10% for me is the longest part of my journey. I stayed there for many years, leaving 90% of my income, and the 90% goes to my asset investments. These are the stocks. But with further financial growth, best practices, and lessons as an investor, I am now leaving 80% to 85% of my income. That's right, 15% to 20% of my income automatically goes to my stocks investments. Again, it is not the amount you put in, but it is the consistency and habit you put in over a long period of time. It is the discipline of living the life at 80%. If this is new to you, start with small percentage such as 5%, or if unable, start with 1%. Try to cut down unnecessary expenses to obtain that 1% regularly and religiously. Then increase your percentage in the long run. Don't stay with 1%. Increase it to 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%, 10%, 15%, 20%. I, as a Turtle Tycoon, am doing the investor's 20% rule from January to November. And during December, I'm investing at least 50% of my income. Always remember the conversation of Jeff Bezos and Warren Buffett. Warren, your investing strategy is so simple. Why doesn't everyone just copy you? Because nobody wants to get rich slow. Well, if you think this content gives value to you, type on the comment below, Discipline December. Let's see how many of you have understood and learned a lot on these contents. And since you reached this far, I'm gonna give you a conclusion. The investor's 20% rule is not about the amount of money you put into your assets. It is not the one-time big-time approach. It is not the quick rich scheme approach. It is not the fast money approach, but it is the consistency and habit you do over a long period of time. But it is the sure win attack and approach for your investments and for your life.